Alright, on S6, area and perimeter in the coordinate plane, lesson 2, you're definitely going to need a calculator on this one. You're going to need a calculator that does square roots because everything's going to be slanted on, or most of everything's going to be slanted, and you're going to have to be able to figure out distance. So, on this, yes, it is a rectangle, and we're finding the area. So how do you find the area of a rectangle? Base times height. But we don't know what the base is, and we don't know what the height is because this base right here is slanted. So what we're going to do, we're going to get into the habit of finding out where these are. So U is at -4, 2. V is at 0, 1. W is at 2, 9. And T is at -2, 10. Okay? So what we need to do is find out this distance. And to find out this distance, we need to make this right triangle right here. So we would make a right triangle, and we would use these coordinates to be able to find the length of the hypotenuse. So if I'll go from -4 to 0, that is 4. If I go from 2 to 1, that is 1. So I'm looking at this triangle right here, which has a base of 4 and a height of 1. So we're going to use the Pythagorean Theorem to find UV. UV equals the square root of a squared plus b squared. It doesn't matter which one's a, it doesn't matter which one's b. So 4 squared plus 1 squared equals the square root of 16 plus 1, which is the square root of 17. So right here is the square root of 17. We're going to leave that for just a little bit. Now we have to find this length, which would have been UT. And from -4 to -2 is 2. So that would be 2 squared plus from 2, that was a 10 and you can't really read it, that was 10. From 2 to 10 is 8, so that would be 8 squared equals 4 plus 64, which is the square root of 68. Now that may or may not simplify anymore, but we don't really care because now we have the base and the height of the rectangle, because this right here is the square root of 68. So if we go back up here where I wrote the formula, what was the base? The square root of 17. What was the height? Square root of 68. So then you grab the calculator and you do the square root of 17 times the square root of 68. And it helps if you put it in right. And we get 34. 34 is the area of that triangle. There's going to be a lot of work to do on pretty much every single problem. And looky there, I just did that last one, huh? I didn't realize I had scrolled down. Okay, so maybe we'll start with some easier ones. Oh, look at there. We have some easier ones. Thank you. Thank you. So x is at -6, -5. W is at 9, -5. And -6, 10. and 9, 10. So I missed my whole ago because I thought I was starting off with the easiest one. I guess I was ending with the hardest, or I was starting with the hardest one. That's good, right? So on this, our x's are the same. So this distance, or this length, is going to go from 10 down to -5. If I go from 10 to -5, I have went 15. And we know it's a square, so I don't have to do any more calculations. So that's going to be 15. And how do I find the perimeter? 15 plus 15 plus 15 plus 15, which would be 60. Or I have 4 15s, and we get 60. Either way, that's how you do the perimeter of a square. Now the perimeter of this triangle. So I need to know all of the lengths. I can find the length of this part pretty easily because it's horizontal, so it's flat, and we can just go from C straight to D. But I'm going to go ahead and put the coordinates there. -10, 7, 8, 7, and 5, -10. Alright, so for the horizontal one, the y's are the same. So if I go from -10 to +8, that length right there is 18 units long. Okay. But DE is a slanted line. So I can't just count the spaces to be able to figure out how long it is. So I'm going to have to use the distance formula or the Pythagorean Theorem. Either way, we'll just say the distance formula because we've done that before. It's been a long, long time ago. The distance between 2 points is the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Probably going to use that on an ACT if you ever take the ACT. So x1, y1, x2, y2. So the distance equals x2, 5 minus 8 plus -10. I wish my pen would write. Minus 7. That would be 3, so it would be 9. 17, so 289 equals the square root of 298. Awesome possum. Wouldn't want it to work any differently, right? Oh my goodness. Ugh. Uh, 298. Says round to the nearest tenth. So let's see what the square root of 298 is. $17.3. Okay, change colors, and we're going to do it again for this distance right here. So CE equals the square root of something squared plus something squared. X2 minus x1, and x1 is -10, so if I minus a -10, I'm actually adding it. Y2 is -10 minus 7. So CE equals 5 plus 10 is 15. 15 squared is 225. -10 minus 7 is -17. -17 times -17 is 289. And so if we add those up, 514. And the square root of 514 is 22.7. Now, what are we doing? We're finding the perimeter, so we're going to add all of these up. So 18 plus 17.3 plus 22.7 equals 58. Let me write that down. 18 plus 22.7 plus 17.3 equals 58 as the perimeter. And we've only done 3 problems, right? Yeah. Okay, graph the rectangle. The good thing is that we know it is going to be a rectangle. So 9, negative 4, 9, negative 4, 1, negative 10, negative 8, 2, 0, 8. Okay, I've drawn the rectangle, and it wants the perimeter. So again, perimeter is the distance around, but the good thing about perimeter is all we have to do is find that length, and then we would have 2 of them. And we would add all 4 up and get the perimeter. So let's say xy, distance, the square root, x and y, I'm doing these 2 right here, something squared plus something squared. So x2, 0, minus x1, which would be negative 8, so it would be plus 8, y2 is 8 minus y1 is 2. 0 plus 8 is 8. 8 times 8 is 64. 8 minus 2 is 6. 6 times 6 is 36. Ooh, I like it when it comes out nice and pretty. So xy is 10. So WV is 10. Now let's do YV. The square root of something squared plus something squared. x2 is 0, minus x1 is 9, y2 is 8, minus y1 is negative 4, so it would be plus 4 right there. 0 minus 9 is negative 9. Negative 9 times negative 9 is 81. 8 plus 4 is 12. 12 times 12 is 144, which is 225. And the square root of 225 is 15. So that's 15, and that's 15. Now we know all the lengths, so now I'm going to be able to find the perimeter. 15 plus 15 is 30. 10 plus 10 is 20. 30 plus 20 is 50. So 50 is the perimeter. I'm going to stop there, go almost 14 minutes in, and this can only take 15-minute intervals for videos, so go to video 2.